Doctor warns, if you're 60, 70, or 80 and not having sex, I am sorry to inform you. Part 1. Your brain needs intimacy to stay young. Before we dive in, hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel and tap the bell icon to join our community dedicated to helping you thrive in your golden years. Could a single touch hold the secret to keeping your mind sharp well into your 80s? Picture yourself at the breakfast table, sipping coffee, when a name slips your mind, someone you've known for years. You laugh it off, blaming age, but deep down it stings. What if that fleeting fog isn't just getting older? What if your brain is quietly craving something you've let slip away, something as human as connection, as vital as touch? Let me tell you about George, a 72-year-old retired math teacher who walked into my office in Des Moines a few years back. "Doc," he said, his voice heavy, "I'm losing my edge. Names escape me. I can't focus, and I don't feel sharp anymore." I ran the usual tests, blood work, brain scans, everything. All clear. No dementia, no red flags. But during a quiet moment, George shared a truth that changed the conversation. Since his wife passed 5 years ago, he hadn't been intimate. Not once, not in any way. Here's the science that might surprise you. Intimacy, whether it's a passionate embrace or a gentle hand on a friend's shoulder, is like a gym session for your brain. When you connect deeply with another person, blood surges to areas tied to memory, emotion, and learning. Chemicals like dopamine, oxytocin, and endorphins, the brain's natural feel-good team, flood your system, reducing stress and shielding your mind from the wear of time. Without these moments, your brain starts to idle, like a car left in the garage too long. Focus fades, energy dips, and the risk of cognitive decline creeps up, silent but real. A 2016 study in Age and Aging found that older adults who stayed sexually active scored significantly higher on memory and problem-solving tests than those who didn't. Why? Intimacy stimulates the hippocampus, the brain's memory hub, keeping it vibrant. For George, the absence of closeness wasn't just emotional, it was neurological. His brain was missing a spark that only human connection can ignite. But here's where his story turns hopeful. After our talks, George took a small step. He joined a local book club. At first, he was shy, but soon he found himself laughing, sharing stories, even flirting a little with a kind widow named Ruth. Within 6 months, he was recalling names with ease, his eyes brighter, his wit sharper. "Doc," he told me, "I feel like I'm back. This isn't about chasing youth or performing like you're 30. It's about keeping your brain alive with connection, any kind. A hug, a shared laugh, a moment of vulnerability, they all count. Without them, you risk more than forgetfulness." Studies, like one from the Journal of Alzheimer's Disease in 2018, show that social isolation and lack of physical touch increase dementia risk by up to 50%. That's not a scare tactic, it's a wake-up call. Your brain wasn't built to go it alone. It thrives on closeness, on the electric hum of human bonds. Let's pause for a moment. When was the last time you felt truly seen? Your heart racing, your mind alive? Maybe it was a dance with your spouse years ago, a late-night talk with a friend, or even a quiet moment holding a grandchild. That feeling isn't gone forever. George found it again, and so can you. Start small, call an old friend, join a community group, or simply hold your partner's hand tonight. These acts aren't trivial, they're lifelines for your mind. But the brain is just the beginning. Your body, too, is sending signals you might be overlooking. Ready to discover what happens when intimacy fades from your physical life? Let's move on. Part 2. Your body thrives on connection. What if the key to feeling stronger, healthier, and more alive isn't a treadmill, but a touch? Meet Linda and Carl, a couple from Omaha in their late 60s, married for nearly 40 years. When they sat across from me in my office, Linda's voice was soft, almost hesitant. We thought that part of our life was done. Carl nodded, but his slumped shoulders told a deeper story. He'd lost muscle, gained weight, and felt, in his words, older than my years. Their intimacy had faded, not out of anger, but out of routine. Life had piled on, grandkids, doctor visits, bills, and their physical connection slipped into silence. Does that sound familiar? Maybe you felt it too. The slow drift from passion to practicality. Here's what's happening inside your body when intimacy takes a back seat. Sexual activity, or even gentle closeness, is a natural boost for your heart and blood vessels. It's like a brisk walk, but with a deeper rhythm. Your heart pumps harder, oxygen races to your organs, and your blood vessels stay flexible. A 2010 study in the Journal of Sexual Medicine found that older adults who stayed sexually active had lower blood pressure and a 45% reduced risk of heart disease compared to those who didn't. But it's not just your heart, it's your entire system. For men, intimacy helps maintain testosterone, the hormone behind energy, muscle strength, and mood. When it fades, testosterone drops, bringing fatigue, irritability, and even depression. A 2017 study from a New England Journal of Medicine showed that men over 65 with low testosterone had a 33% higher risk of frailty. For women, closeness triggers oxytocin and estrogen, which protect against bone loss, joint pain, and mood swings. Without these, Linda noticed her energy waning, her joints aching. Carl felt like he was shrinking, his strength sapped. But it's not just hormones. Intimacy is exercise, gentle, joyful exercise. It boosts lung capacity, burns calories, and keeps your muscles engaged. A 2019 study in Archives of Sexual Behavior found that older couples who maintained physical closeness had better mobility and fewer chronic illnesses. When Linda and Carl let intimacy fade, their bodies noticed. Carl's walks got shorter. Linda stopped gardening, her favorite hobby. They didn't connect the dots until we talked. Here's the hope. You don't need to be a gym buff or a young lover to reclaim these benefits. A warm hug, a lingering kiss, or even a heartfelt talk can wake up your body systems. When Linda and Carl started small, holding hands on their evening walks, cuddling during movie nights, things shifted. Carl's energy surged. He started lifting weights again. Linda felt stronger, her smile brighter. Their bodies were remembering what it means to be alive. Let's get personal. What's one small way you could bring touch into your life today? Maybe it's a hug for your spouse, a pat on a friend's back, or even a self-care moment like a warm bath. These acts aren't just sweet, they're medicine. But as vital as your body is, there's something even deeper at stake, your heart. Let's explore what happens when intimacy fades from your relationships. Part 3. Your heart craves connection. What happens when the person you love most feels like a stranger in your own home? Imagine this. You're at dinner with your partner of decades. The plates are warm, the conversation polite, but there's a silence, a heavy, invisible wall. You're not arguing, but you're not connecting. This was Margaret's reality. At 74, she sat in my office in Chicago, her voice trembling. I don't want to pressure him, she said, tears welling. But I miss being touched. I miss feeling like his wife, not just his caregiver. Her husband's cancer treatment had taken a toll, and their intimacy had vanished, leaving a quiet ache. When intimacy fades, it's not just physical, it's emotional. It's the slow unraveling of a bond that once felt unbreakable. For couples, that distance can grow into loneliness, resentment, or shame. One partner might think, they don't want me anymore. The other might feel, I'm failing them. And if you're single, widowed, or divorced, the absence of closeness can erode your sense of self. You might wonder, am I still desirable? Do I still matter? That's not just a passing thought. It's a wound to your heart. A 2018 study in Psychology and Aging found that older adults who felt emotionally disconnected from their partners reported higher rates of depression and anxiety. For Margaret, the silence wasn't loud, but it was heavy. She missed the way her husband used to hold her hand, the way he'd wink across the room. Now, they were kind roommates, not lovers. And for those without a partner, like Susan, a 68-year-old widow I met in Seattle, the loneliness was different, but just as real. I don't even know how to start again, she told me. I feel invisible. But here's the truth. Your heart was made for connection, no matter your age. Intimacy, whether it's a passionate kiss or a vulnerable conversation, reminds you that you're seen, wanted, alive. Without it, you might withdraw not just from love, but from life. Susan stopped going to her dance classes. Margaret stopped laughing as much. Their hearts were starving for closeness. Yet there's hope. Margaret and her husband started small. They held hands during their morning coffee, shared stories from their early days. Slowly, the silence softened. Susan joined a widows group where she found friendship and, eventually, a new romance. Both women rediscovered their worth. What's one way you could reach out today? Maybe it's a kind word to your partner, a call to a friend, or a moment to remind yourself, I am enough. But there's one more truth you need to hear, because intimacy isn't just about your heart, it's about your life. Part 4. Intimacy could add years to your life. Could the secret to living longer be as simple as holding someone close? Let me introduce Robert, an 81-year-old from Atlanta who walked into my office with a spring in his step. His blood pressure was solid, his mind sharp, but what struck me was his aliveness. When I asked his secret, he grinned. Doc, I flirt with my wife every morning. We hold each other every night, and sometimes, he chuckled, we still make love. It wasn't about the act. It was about the spark, the joy of feeling fully human. Here's the science. Intimacy, in any form, is linked to a longer life. A 1997 study in the British Medical Journal found that older adults with regular sexual activity had a 50% lower mortality rate over a decade than those without. Why? Closeness releases oxytocin and endorphins, which lower inflammation, reduce blood pressure, and calm your nervous system. It improves sleep, boosts immunity, and cuts stress hormones like cortisol. Without it, your body shifts into a quieter, riskier state. Stress lingers, sleep falters, and your immune system weakens. A 2020 study in the gerontologist showed that older adults who maintained physical affection, hugs, kisses, or more, had a 20% lower risk of chronic illnesses like diabetes or heart disease. Robert's daily flirtations weren't just sweet, they were life-giving. But when intimacy fades, the opposite happens. You might feel anxious, isolated, less motivated to move or socialize. These aren't just moods, they're measurable risks to your health and lifespan. Take Ellen, a 76-year-old from Miami. After her divorce, she withdrew, avoiding touch or connection. Her health declined, high blood pressure, poor sleep, frequent colds. When she started therapy and joined a community choir, she found friendship and, later, love. Her health rebounded. What's stopping you from taking that first step? It could be fear, doubt, or habit, but know this. Every step toward closeness is a step toward life. Part 5. It's never too late to start again. What if your next chapter could be the most vibrant one yet? Meet Eleanor, a 78-year-old from Portland who sat in my office, her voice soft but resolute. I miss feeling like a woman, she said. Not a grandmother, not a patient, just a woman. It had been a decade since she'd felt affection, and she thought that part of her was gone. But here's the truth I've seen in 30 years of practice. Your capacity for connection never expires. Whether you're 60 or 90, single or married, your heart still craves closeness, and your body still responds to it. Rebuilding intimacy doesn't mean grand gestures. It starts with a conversation, a touch, a moment of courage. For couples, it might be saying, I miss you, or holding hands during a walk. For singles, it could be joining a class, seeking therapy, or simply caring for your body. Eleanor started with a dance group, where she found friendship and, later,